Guys, all my friends left me. I've been traveling with Christian for 2 years in the van, the entirety of our travels. And to be honest, I think I've gotten pretty used to it. So when Christian decided he wanted to go to Europe for a family trip.
All right, you gonna be okay without me, my babe?
Yeah.
For real?
No. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Instead of going with him, I decided to take on the challenge of living in a van alone. But on top of that, we even had to say goodbye to our friends Henry and Hannelyn.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Love you guys. Be safe out on the
Love
road.
you guys too. Yes. He's far away. Now let me be honest here. I'm not that good at being alone. I grew up in a big family, so I never even had my own room, let alone any space at all from anyone ever. Then Christian and I got together really young, so I didn't even have time to live in a normal apartment on my own before we moved in together. So this isn't just the challenge of living in a van by myself, this is the challenge to be by myself. And on top of that, I'm in Colombia. A lot of you guys ask me, especially you ladies, ask me if I would do this by myself if Christian wasn't in the picture. But to be honest, it's hard for me to answer that question because I've never actually experienced it on my own. So I'm really excited to experience this and see what I think about it, see if I maybe do think I would do it on my own without Christian, if I feel like it's safe, and if I'd recommend that other women try this on their own. I went on Instagram to find out what questions you guys had about living in a van as a solo female traveler. Alright, let's wait for these questions to come in. And you guys asked some good ones. So let's get into the first one, shall we? Favorite part of having the van alone? Well, let me show you. I get to eat as much as I want. No one to share the food with. Okay. One of my other favorite parts about being in the van without Christian is that it can be as messy as I want it to be. I have not fully cleaned all of this up really since Christian left. That stuff on the bed just like goes to the couch when I'm sleeping, and then when I'm using the couch it goes back to the bed. It's kind of how I like to live my life, you know? It's kind of nice to be able to do that, to be left to my own devices. Alright, while you guys watch me do hot yoga, really there's no other way to do yoga in Cartagena because it is so freaking hot here. I just want to pop in and let you know that I am going to get to the question I know you're all asking. Is it safe? But that's a whole rant, so stick to the end of the video for that. Do you think it's more challenging being solo in a foreign country compared to the US? Yes, definitely. I think if I were doing this in the US, it would honestly feel like so easy. It would feel totally like normal, totally safe, totally familiar. I think the biggest thing is the language barrier because I don't speak great Spanish, but I do think that one of the things that's coming out of this that's really positive is that my Spanish is improving a lot. So it is more challenging, but I'm also like kind of being forced to get out of my comfort zone and talk to people and practice my Spanish a lot, and so it has been really good. By the way, guys, have I shown you my view yet? Look how pretty! It's Cartagena. Really, really gorgeous. Okay, so now that I have my swim of the day in, which that felt really, really nice, I always say that videos make me do things that I wouldn't otherwise do, and that is one. I've been putting off swimming ever since I got here, and it was really nice to just have a little swim for the day. But I don't love the saltiness in my hair, and this is like city ocean too, so you never know what's in there. So I'm going to take a shower, and I have this new shower setup that I wanted to show you guys. Alright, which of these things can you guess is my shower? Ding 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 ding! This guy is my new shower. So, in this lid, I drilled 3 little holes, and I just fill up this jug, like kind of halfway, and then I just pour it on me and it's my shower. Alright, so I came up with this handy little idea for the shower. I had these two really strong magnetic hooks, which come in super handy actually, and I'm just clipping these onto the van with the side door open, and I hang my shower curtain on the hooks. Pretty smart, huh? Welcome to my shower, everyone. To be honest, guys, you may think this is pretty ridiculous, that this is how I'm taking my shower, but let me make the case, okay? A, I don't have any other options to take showers, so this is actually really, really awesome and nice. B, I've maybe gone through 1 liter of water for an entire shower where I washed my hair and my body. I mean, that's pretty environmental. Let me see if I can think of a third just for fun. 3, everyone who's around is really confused at what's going on. So, you know, I got to confuse the masses. Okay, it is time to make some dinner. Today, I'm going to try a new rice and beans recipe that I'm super excited. This is like a Caribbean version of gallo pinto, which is something that you guys have definitely seen in our videos. It has like coconut milk in it and different types of beans. So anyways, I'm really excited to try this recipe and I'm going to show you guys. Wow, this house is a total disaster. But I'm the only one living in it, so it can look however I want it to. Total disaster. What do you watch purposely without your mate? Any shows you like to binge by yourself? Yes, actually. Basically, just TV shows in general. Christian doesn't really like them. And because I don't have any friends right now, you know this girl has been hitting up the TV show Friends a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna throw on a little epi while I cook some... here we go. I'm gonna put on a little epi while I do some food preppy, okay? Okay. This is one of my favorite features of our van. This clip that we cannot hang anything on because there's not enough space between it and the spice rack. Don't know who did that. Probably me. My phone fits perfectly and I get to watch TV right there. It is hot cooking in here.
There's no such thing as keeping secrets when it comes to having affairs.
I've got a question that I think is fitting right now. Do you still make food for 2 people and eat it all? Well, I make food for 4 people. We'll see if I can eat it all. I think this might be a good start to eating it all. We'll see. How are you feeling alone at night sleeping? How do you get past those nerves if you have any? Surprisingly, I haven't been feeling weird while sleeping. I think that, to be honest, when I close the doors and when I like kind of have my home to myself and it's cool enough at night that I can be in here comfortably or fairly comfortably because it's still really hot here. I don't know, it's just like my familiar place, my home, I don't know. It's kind of like where I escape the world a little bit. So to be honest, I think it would probably feel really weird if I were staying in a hotel room or something like that, an unfamiliar place, but being in my home is like totally fine. All right guys, I will see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Okay, guys, it is time for the safety chat you have all been waiting for. I'm just going to have a little safety discussion here at the end to close out this video because I know that's probably what is on everyone's minds. Life is honestly just risky. Even if you stayed like in your home, in your hometown, barely even left your house, you could still be vulnerable to bad things happening. So I'm not going to say that necessarily it's the safest thing to live in a van as a female alone in Colombia. or in a developing country like this, but it also doesn't mean that I'm actually in like any kind of imminent danger. One lesson that traveling has taught me is that uncomfortable does not equal dangerous. Almost every day my surroundings feel completely unfamiliar, and so sometimes like my fight or flight lizard brain kind of translates that unfamiliarity to being dangerous. And I've really tried to start consciously reframing my mindset to understand that just because something is a little bit out of my comfort zone doesn't actually mean that I'm in danger. And honestly, that goes for Colombia. I haven't spent that much time here, and when I was first here alone, it felt pretty uncomfortable. There were a lot of new things, both being in a different country, in a new country that I'd never traveled in before, and also being alone in the van for really the first time in our travels. I really tried to give Colombia a chance to prove to me that it actually wasn't dangerous. Male attention in Latin America has been a lot more intense for me than I have ever experienced in the US and Canada, are the main countries that I've spent most of my time in. And I think it honestly mostly has to do with the fact that I am a bit taller than average here. I'm a gringa. I just like don't blend in necessarily, and so already that means that eyes are on me. And then I think also just the Latin American culture is a bit more like romantic and sensual and that kind of thing. I think I've realized over the past few months of being here that male attention isn't automatically like aggressive or shouldn't necessarily be taken that way here. I don't think that it necessarily is always objectifying. A lot of times I think it's meant from a place of being very complimentary. But for any of you guys who are from Latin America, I would love to hear your thoughts about, because it's your culture and you know it better than I do. That's just kind of like what I've picked up on in the last few months of traveling it extensively. Kind of like what I was saying, just because something feels different and new, aka walking down the street and having 4 or 5 guys talk to me, which is not something that I usually experience in the States, doesn't mean that it's dangerous. And so I'm always trying to like reframe my mindset. However, I will say that that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't potential for danger, and because there kind of is a different line, I guess, when it comes to male attention towards women, then sometimes there can be actual experiences that make me feel really uncomfortable. So for instance, a guy came up to the van the other day and he kept talking to me in a super thick Colombian accent, which is really, really difficult for me to understand. I can understand other accents, but this accent is just really, really hard for me for some reason. And it turned out like I knew all of the words he was saying, but I just couldn't understand because of his accent. So he's talking to me and I must have said no entiendo like 14 dozen times, so many times. And after I really decoded what he was saying after a really long time of trying, I realized that he was like attempting to flirt with me, and I was really glad that I didn't say "sí" just to try to get him to leave or something like that, because maybe he would have read that as me understanding what he was saying and inviting him kind of to have more of a, I don't know, connection or something like that I didn't want. When it comes to whether I would do this on my own, I think I would definitely do it in the US, definitely do it in Canada, and any other country that's similar to one of those. So maybe Europe or Australia. I also think I would do it in Mexico. And like I've traveled in Mexico now a cumulative 3 or 4 months or something like that in my life, and always in the van, and I feel totally safe there. Totally safe. I just really feel like the culture there looks out for everybody. I mean, I don't want to send somebody to Mexico and have them accidentally be in danger, but from my experience, I think you would be all right. And if there's anything that makes you feel really uncomfortable, the US is really close and you can get out of Mexico pretty easily. Now, on the rest of Latin America, I think that it is doable as a solo female traveler to van life and be alone. I really, really do. I think it's a challenge. I think that if you want to do it, you have to be prepared. You have to be up for the challenge. You have to be up for things just feeling super, super different. If maybe you have a background that's similar to me, things are just going to feel really different, and you're gonna have to get used to it, and you're gonna have to get used to it on your own, which means that you're gonna go off of your own judgment, not collaborating, talking about it with your partner or your friend that you're traveling with. You're gonna have to figure it out on your own, and that is a whole like extra curveball that I haven't really normally needed to do because I have a partner traveling with me. So yeah, I don't want to flippantly just like recommend it to everybody, but I do think it's really doable. So just be ready for that if you're going to travel alone. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. Maybe I shed some light on the solo female conversation after a long while of not being a solo female van lifer. Honestly, I consider myself super lucky to have had this experience. It was one of the more challenging things that I've ever done, to be honest, but it was really empowering to know that I actually can do it, that I actually can live in a van by myself in a foreign country where I don't speak the language fully and absolutely crush it. I really hope that maybe this video helped some of you guys who really want to travel and maybe don't have a partner to do it with or a friend to do it with. Hopefully it empowers you to try out traveling by yourself too, because I think it really is so doable and you should do it. If you have any thoughts, if you've solo traveled before, guys, this is to you too. Or if you're thinking about solo traveling and you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to have some conversations with you guys about what you think and what you're planning on doing. Would love to hear about it. If you guys are new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and if you're an old pal, hit that notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao!